avoided these books for way too long, and I regretted it. I'm such a mood reader, so if I think I'm not going to like a book, I just won't pick it up. And sometimes it's more of a matter of feeling like it's not the right book for the right time, or something about the themes don't really sound like they go well with me at that moment. It's weird. I don't know. If you are a mood reader, then hopefully you get it. But then I end up getting proven wrong time and time again with books like these. So grab yourself a warm beverage. Got myself a cup of tea here. Get cozied up and let's get into this video. I've got a stack of books here that I want to talk to you guys about and tell you why these books were something that I should have picked up a long time ago. And we'll start off, I guess, with the one that I don't have physically here, which I really need to buy. But that is going to be Margot's Got Money Troubles. And this book, oh my gosh, I don't know. So I heard about this book, was it last year or the year before that? I can't remember. But when I heard about the book, I was like, oh, I kind of want to pick it up. It sounds different. But I wasn't 100% sure if it was going to be a book for me. I think I read the OnlyFans portion of what was in the synopsis and was kind of like, this can go either really well or really bad really quickly, and I don't know if that's going to be the lane that I want to choose to go down, but ended up giving it a shot. I think I read this a couple months back. It was sometime at the end of last year, and I loved that book. That book was so much more than what I thought it was going to be, that it was a really true story with a huge developmental arc with our main character. It was all about her finding herself. I mean, this young girl was in college, had an affair with her professor, and ends up having a baby. And now she is left trying to just figure out how to navigate motherhood, find herself, how to afford having this child. And it just kind of takes us through all these trials and tribulations that she goes through. You meet some really interesting characters along the way. I just really loved this book, and it was so much more, like I said, than I thought it was going to be. It was definitely more of like a contemporary or literary fiction with a lot of growth and development in between. And so I loved it. It gave me so much just from reading that book, and was also extremely motivational. So this was definitely just a really good book to pick up, and it was fun and easy to read, and it was super fast paced. I had a really good time reading this book. And I will also say, if you're interested and you're someone, maybe you don't care if you read the book before or after, but if you're interested and you want to see a movie or TV adaptation of books, they have come out with a TV show adaptation of Margot's Got Money Troubles that is on Apple TV, so you can definitely check it out there. I've started watching it. I think I'm on episode 3 now. It's pretty good so far. Definitely some graphic scenes that I wasn't really expecting, but it is good so far. And Ella Fanning plays Margot, which I love. I love it. All right, let's get into the next book I have, and that is going to be Project Hail Mary, and this is by Andy Weir. This book I didn't really pay any mind to. I think I had heard about it before, but I've never been a big like science fiction fan, although I think I've been trying to broaden my horizons with the types of books and genres that I read, because I feel like my reading taste has changed quite a lot since I first started reading, and I'm trying to figure out what my bread and butter is, like what books I'm going to just pick up and know that I'm going to love the book. But science fiction has always felt very overwhelming or daunting to me. The language that's normally used in science fiction books, it's normally a lot to follow, and I get overwhelmed very quickly. So I wasn't sure I was going to like this book at all. I actually really didn't think I was going to, but everyone just kept talking about it. And then I heard that the movie was coming out with Ryan Gosling, and I was like, I kind of feel like I have to read it. So I ended up reading it in the beginning of the year, and oh my God. I've got Anthony reading it right now, and I love this book. Like, I love this book. This is my first 5-star of the year. This this book just literally gives me chills. We follow our main character, Ryland Grace, and he is this teacher that has basically been sent on a mission, and it is a huge mission to basically save planet Earth. And we just kind of follow him on that journey, traveling in space, what it looks like for him, and meeting some really interesting characters along the way that are so lovable. Oh my God. And I love how this book is told, because we kind of get jolted in just as Ryland is getting jolted into his situation as well. So we really feel like we're on the journey with him. And we get flashbacks of his past to kind of pick us back up and find out how he got to where he is. And I just love this book. And I do also have to mention that if you're someone that's like me that feels really overwhelmed by science fiction books, the language in the books, all the mathematical equations, the science words, you don't have to worry about that with this book at all. It is so easy to read this book. Oh my God, it's so easy to read this book. And I've heard really great things about the audiobook. So if you would like to read or if you'd prefer to read the audiobook, I hear it's amazing. So you should give that a try. Just either way, pick up this book, because I promise you are going to love it. I promise. The hype is not overhyped. There's a reason why this book is so good. I ordered a bagel for breakfast. I'm kind of looking out to see if that's here. But the next book I have, this is going to come as no surprise, I feel like, to anyone if you've been watching my channel for a little while. Last summer, I don't know why I decided to read this book in the summer. This is definitely just not a summer book, but I was like, guys, it's now or never. And thank God I did it then. But this is The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah. And I wanted to read this book because of the hype. Everyone talks about Kristin Hannah, and everyone that I've seen talk about Kristin Hannah talks about this book, okay? It's a big one. So for one, this was very daunting. This one's 500, almost 600 pages. However, it's a historical fiction book, and I didn't think that I was someone that was going to be interested in historical fiction. Just being really honest, it didn't ever sound like something that was my kind of genre. However, after reading it, in hindsight, it makes sense. History was one of my favorite subjects in school, so I don't know why I was like, no, it's not going to be for me. I will say one big thing with this book is it takes place during World War II, so it does have a lot of heavy things happening in it that revolve the Holocaust and just what life was like back then. And I think that also really scared me and intimidated me. But I loved it. I loved this book. It made me bawl. I was bawling my eyes out. I would say once I got to maybe this part of the book, I was done for. But it was what I needed, and the emotional reaction just told me that I was so invested in this story and so invested in these characters that I was feeling everything they were feeling as they were feeling it, and it just felt so transcendent, and I just felt so engaged and so attached to this book and this story. I was transported. I was honestly transported, and I since have read another Kristin Hannah book. I have also now picked up 2 other Kristin Hannah books. I really want to get to this one here, which is The Great Alone, but I'm so scared to go back into that emotional roller coaster that her books take you on, because they just deal with really heavy, hard topics. But I find that it's so refreshing now. to be able to read a book like this, but then go ahead and then read something that's a little bit more light and fluffy, kind of like a palate cleanser. This is why I love reading. Books like this is why I love and have fallen in love with reading. So if you need a little bit of a tearjerker, but you want a really, really good book, read this one. My coworker was actually reading this last week, and she got to the point where like things start to really speed up and it gets really, really heavy very fast, and she was crying, and I was like, why are you reading this here? This is not the place to read this. Read this at home. And she's like, yep, you know what, you're right, I can't read it here, I'm gonna go home and read it. So yeah, and then after that she was like, I need a really, really cute, just light book. So she's reading something else now, but I need to check back in with her. I hope she ended up loving it, but from what I could see, she was definitely feeling it and definitely engrossed in the book. I did also, mind you, since this is a very big book, I feel like I should just point out, I read this book in like 2 days. I couldn't put it down. That's how good this book was. Like, I physically felt like I could not put this book down. Need I say more? Okay, next book I have, oh my God, if this was a real person, if this book was real, oh my God. Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm a big fan of Taylor Jenkins Reid. Since reading Daisy Jones and the Six, I've always really gravitated to her books. And so I've pretty much picked up all of her like known books. I haven't gone to her backlist yet, but I have to tell you a little story with this one. I did not want to pick up this book, okay? If you don't know, and this is a part of kind of like the same world as, is he in Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo? I think he's in Seven Husbands. Okay, so I think if I can remember correctly, there's a character that we see within Daisy Jones and the Six, possibly Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but I can't remember for sure because it's been quite a long time since I have read that book. And then as well as Malibu Rising. We meet this character in Malibu Rising, Carrie Soto. And in that book, she is not likable. I couldn't stand her. I was actually really upset. I didn't want a story about her. So when I heard this story was coming out, I was like, absolutely not. Heck no. I am not reading that book. And I swore up and down that I wasn't going to pick it up. Until one day, I don't know what it was. I don't know if I just kept hearing things about it. It just kept popping up. I think it was a mixture of things. I think I kept hearing a lot about it, but it also just kept popping up. Like, I would go to Goodreads and it would pop up. I would go on YouTube and I'd see videos about it. I would go to TikTok. Like, I just kept seeing the book pop up that I was like, okay, I think I kind of have to just see what this is about. And I ended up picking it up and I flew through this book. Guys, I love this book, and truly, I've been wanting to reread this for quite some time. So this may be a book that I have to get into. This might actually need to be the next book that I read. I don't know. But this was so good. I mean, it's kind of like with The Hunger Games and Katniss. This book is nothing like The Hunger Games, but the character, Katniss, was not a likable character. She was not meant to be likable. And that's kind of how it is with Carrie. Not kind of, no, she is not a likable character at all, but you end up loving her and you end up rooting for her. You see her growth and development throughout the book. Ooh. Weird. You see her growth and development throughout the entire story, and you really do end up starting to root for her. She's still, at the end of the day, not a very likable character, but I think for me, I understood her a lot more as we started to see her go through different things throughout the book. But basically, Carrie Soto is a tennis player. She's a professional tennis player, and she is amazing at what she does. And she basically lives, breathes, eats, sleeps tennis. That is really the only thing she cares about, and she cares about winning. I don't even mean to say that she cares about the art of tennis. She cares about winning and being the best. And we just follow her on her journey of coming out of retirement to come back and keep her place in tennis. And I love this book. Oh my God. And this is one of those books where I'm just like, why the heck did I convince myself based off of just a glimpse of her in another book? Literally just a glimpse. You don't even actually meet her. You just hear about her. And it's like, based off of that, I was instantly like, never reading that. Never reading that. I think because the morals were not connecting for me. Like, I would never do what she did, but I guess you never say never, but I would, that's not me. I would not want to do what she did. But I don't know, guys, I just love this book, and I got Anthony to read this last year, and he loved it. He loved it. And this book made me obsessed with tennis. And I kind of want to read it again so I can get obsessed with tennis and watch tennis matches and then go play tennis this summer. If you haven't picked this up, it's not a new book, but it is a goodie. It is a goodie. Is this her? That's more of a recent book from her. But it has definitely been a couple of years since that one's come out. Okay, next book. Funny Story by Emily Henry. I'm surprised this one is on my list as well. I have pretty much every Emily Henry book on my shelf. I think except for Great Big Beautiful Life. And she hasn't had a new one since then. So I have everything except for Great Big Beautiful Life. And guys, I enjoy her books, but definitely there have been moments where some of her books have been a hit or a miss. Like, I think People We Meet on Vacation and Beach Read were my favorites of her, but they aren't super like ingrained or memorable to me. And when Great Big Beautiful Life came out, I ended up actually really loving that book. But this book I devoured. I did not expect to fall in love with these characters and the story as much as I did. This really felt like I was reading like a sitcom. Kind of like a How I Met Your Mother or something like that. Like, this felt like I was reading that, and I was literally in the book like, oh my god, what's gonna happen next? Like, I so enjoyed this, and it felt just super refreshing to read a book like that. I think at the time that I read it, again, being a mood reader, I think there's always a time and a place for a book for me. Not every book is going to hit no matter what it is or no matter what the time, but some books, it just really depends on the situation and the mood that I am in, and I read this book at the right time. I loved it. It was such an interesting situation in this book. I don't want to give too much away, but we follow these two characters. I don't remember their names. Daphne and Miles. Oh my god. Miles is literally a golden retriever. But basically we follow those two characters, and they're going through some pretty crazy things. Daphne is engaged to this guy named Peter, who is really well off and has this best friend, and this best friend is dating Miles. Well, things take a turn. Daphne has to move in with Miles because, well, Peter and the best friend decide they want to now be together. And so we follow them on just navigating these breakups when we first meet Miles, it is such a hilarious like situation because he's like listening to like this music and he's all emotional and just, I don't know, I loved this book. So if you're looking for something cute and fun to read, this one is a good one. All right, the last book I have on the list is going to be The Wedding People, and this one is by Alison Apech. And I didn't know what to expect going into this book. I just kind of kept seeing it all over the place. And at the time that I read this, which I guess was last summer, wasn't a huge fan of like literary or contemporary fictions. So I didn't think that I was going to actually enjoy this book. But I had hopes that I would because everything that I had heard from other people was that they really loved it or enjoyed the book. And I ended up loving it, of course. That's why it's on this list. This one basically follows really quite a heavy topic. We have our main character, which I don't remember her name, Phoebe. We follow Phoebe, and she is it Phoebe? Yeah, we follow Phoebe, and she is coming to this hotel. She has basically dreamed of coming to this hotel for quite some time. She had planned to go there with her husband, but unfortunately some things have happened in their relationship and they are no longer together. And we slowly just start unpacking why she is there, and it is not for the greatest of reasons. However, she ends up going there the exact time that basically this hotel gets rented out for a wedding. And so we kind of follow her and how she kind of gets intertwined and interwoven into the lives of these people that are attending this wedding. And I think it's really just quite a fun read, minus some of the heavier topics. And the bride is just so, oh my God. But I will say, I think they end up really helping each other out, the bride and Phoebe, and it just ends up becoming like this really beautiful story. So I love this book. I'm so grateful and thankful that I read it. I loved it so much that I had listened to the audiobook, but I ended up having to pick up the physical copy because I was like, no, I know that I'm going to probably read this again at some point, and I love it. And the same coworker I told you about that read The Nightingale picked this one up, and I told her, I was like, this book was really good. So definitely enjoyed this, and I would highly recommend that you pick it up. So yeah, maybe I need to stop judging books before I read them because clearly I don't know anything. Now I need to know what books you actually thought you would hate, but you ended up loving, because I feel like I have to be missing out on more. I kind of feel like I want to do the opposite of this video where I talk about books that I actually thought I was going to love, but I didn't. So let me know if that sounds interesting to you and that's something that you would want to see. This was actually really fun and reminded me to just read what feels good. Although, as I mentioned, I am a mood reader, and so what seems good in the moment may not seem good 2 seconds later. So that is a problem that I need to address. Maybe it's an attention span problem. Maybe we shouldn't even call it mood reading. Maybe it's just an attention span problem. That could very well be, and maybe that needs to be a video too. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you more than you know. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.